Hey, everybody, this is Jaret from the Rockstar Dad Show. Coming up next on the program, we're going to talk a little Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving, and we've got SEAN MACKIN from the band YELLOWCARD is a freaking rock star, a rockstar dad, and a rockstar golfer. That is this week on the Rockstar Dad Show.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.
Welcome to the Rockstar Dad Show. My name is Jaret. Gary's here.
Yo.
And man, what a beautiful time of year here in Texas. It's just nice outside. The winds are blowing in from different areas or whatever, and my allergies freaking suck.
Well, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. But yes, you're exactly right. It's the awesome time of year where it's like 60-something degrees outside in the daytime.
Yeah.
And last evening, it was so beautiful. Mia and I went and took the dog for a walk. And while we were walking around the block, it was just the cutest damn thing ever because she just sang all of the Christmas carols she could think of the whole walk. Just little bitty cute 6-year-old girl singing Jingle Bells and Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed. It was awesome.
Man, that sounds like a delightful evening, you know, just you and the dog and the 6-year-old just singing it up.
Yeah.
You know, and man, she is a trip. First, and I do want to say, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Thanks to Gary and his amazing family for having me over for Thanksgiving. I had such a fun time. You know, I've had examples of your cooking before. You know, it's mostly in the meat category.
Yeah.
You, my friend, are fucking real good at making shit. Like,
thanks, dude.
The turkey was amazing. I'm saying right now, I hope my mother-in-law or my mom don't hear this, but I think yours are probably the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. Like in my life.
Thanks, man.
And obviously I love carbs.
Well, man, don't we all? We were just talking about that before the show. Like, I've been trying to eat kind of healthy. I always do this whenever we come home from tour. I'm like, I'm going to eat healthy at home, and I'd knock off some weight, and then we go on tour and put it back on, right?
Yeah.
But you know, we cooked Thanksgiving dinner, and you have leftovers for days and days, and so I feel guilty not eating the leftovers or don't want it to go to waste. And so after about 4 days of eating Thanksgiving dinner, I realized I'd put on like 5 of the pounds I'd knocked off. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah, I think that happens to everybody around this time, you know, and it's like some shit you also sit home some of your family recipe stuffing and your family recipe cranberry sauce what do you call the cranberry thing?
Yeah, it's a cranberry salad. It's like a Jell-O salad, cranberry salad. I don't know. My mom makes it, and it's amazing.
But you use it the same way in which you use
cranberry sauce
or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I am a big fan of the can. You know, fan of the can. And man, that's a good advertisement for them around that time, man. I wonder if I could pitch that.
Yeah, let's go.
Because a lot of people will be like, I like the homemade, but but a fan of the can. Hey, do you want some cranberries? Hey, no, I'm just a fan of the can.
Yeah, brought my own. I'm a fan of the can.
Oh my God, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Man, I got to figure out how to pitch that. Well, our good friend Allie is a publicist and has SEAN MACKIN from YELLOWCARD coming on later in the episode. Maybe I should ask her. How do we get to that? The people who make the can for it. Anyway,
we got to know somebody.
Know somebody. But
big cran.
We had a great day of drinking beers. We watched football. We had a delicious meal. And then we did that thing that when you're a kid, you see old people do it. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Where we just stayed at the table until almost 2:00 in the morning, just drinking wine and shooting the shit.
100. It was a great day. Had a blast. So happy that everyone that came over. But you're exactly right. I remember being a kid, and as soon as you had the last bite, you're like, "Can we have dessert?" And if it's no, or if it's later, it's like, boom, I'm gone, right?
Yeah.
And if it was okay to have dessert, then as soon as that's over, you're out of there. And then the old people just sit at the table forever, and like, what are you guys doing? But it was just such a blast. We were having so much fun, telling stories, having a good laugh with everybody.
Yeah.
And, even I think at one point, it was a couple hours after dinner, we were still sitting there, and I tried to get everyone to move into the living room, and everyone's just happy where they are. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, it's funny. Your mother-in-law went to bed 2 separate times and came back and just like, I feel like I'm missing out on all the hilarity. Because we're all just having a blast and laughing it up. And of course, what brought that up is little Mia is so adorable, and I believe she went through 6 outfits in one day. But she made us all little place cards to put where our seats were, and we had Tyler was getting us beers. He was gonna try and eat a whole turkey himself. He did eat quite a bit of turkey.
Both of my kids are such picky eaters, and I remember this too about being a kid. Like, Thanksgiving meal was nothing special to me. It's like, okay, mashed potatoes, great, but I didn't care about the stuffing or the dressing or the cranberry salad or even the turkey as a kid, right? And my kids don't eat any of that crap. Like, Mia loved the turkey, Tyler loved the turkey. They didn't even try anything else.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was telling you, I think last week on the show, where Everett just started eating chicken, and then I went to his Thanksgiving. He was just eating turkey, and I'm just not saying anything. Not going to point it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him, I'm just going to let him, just like chicken and turkey now.
Well, and you were over at my house solo. And I can't remember I think Anik posted some pictures, and it was just you at our table with us. And I was like, I wonder if people are going to be like, uh-oh, what's going on? But
we saw this 11 years ago. What's happening?
But Casey and Everett went to New York, and they had a great time. They had a good trip.
They did. It started out as this thing where they were going to go up and visit her grandparents. But then she thought, this is a good opportunity for me to pop into New York City and see this parade. That's their thing. They wake up early on Thanksgiving every year, and they watch the parade together while she's making the macaroni and cheese for the big family dinner. And so she was just like, I think I'm going to just take him to this parade, and then I'll pop over and see my grandparents in upstate New York. Well, unfortunately, the flights to upstate New York are not that economical, and she was like, yeah, that's gonna be like a lot, $2,300 or something crazy. So she goes, I'm just gonna do the parade thing, I think. And so they went to New York. They've been there together before when Bowling for Soup was playing, and they hit this is my favorite part of the story. Is we had watched Night of the Museum 1 and 2. And so she took him to the Museum of Natural History. And so he got his picture made with all of those,
Nice.
all those things, Rex and the Dum guy and Roosevelt and all of that. And then they, of course, went and had soup dumplings, which is a big Bowling for Soup core thing that we do, tradition that we do. And they spent their evening. So this is the funny story about that night. I got this message while I was sitting with you. We were watching football with our buddy Mark, and my son just texts me, and he goes, hey, mom's phone might die. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he goes, I think I'm more of a crab guy. And I'm just like, okay. And I put haha because I thought, oh, that must be from a movie or something, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out they went to Morton's, and he wanted to try lobster. And so later I get another text. He's like, did you read what I wrote? And I put, yeah. And then I'm thinking, why the hell is he texting me that he's more of a crab leg guy? And then I remembered, and I go, wait, did you try lobster tonight? And he goes, yeah, I didn't like it. He goes, I really didn't like anything but the sides. Like, they went to Morton's, which is a really nice, steakhouse.
Yeah.
And, but so he's talking about how he doesn't like it. And then, so last night we were talking about it again. And there he is going, oh, yeah, the mac and cheese was freaking great. Oh, the mashed potatoes were freaking great. And so you did like it, you just, yeah. And luckily he didn't talk his mom into 2 lobster tails, because that's where the night started. And, that's not Red Lobster, man. Those things are not cheap.
Well, you were telling that story over at our house, and whenever you told it, I was like, that sounds like how Anik communicates. And she's like, yeah, I totally understand what he's saying. Because she will. She'll just out of nowhere go, "Oh yeah, they said this the other day," and I'm like, "Wait a second, who's
Yeah.
they?"
Right.
And what are we talking about here? Because the
Yeah.
last time we were talking about what we're having for dinner, and now all of a sudden they are saying something.
Right. Yeah, that's a big Casey thing too. She'll go, "Oh, I thought we were done talking about that. I'm already talking about something else." And I'm like, "Well, we don't have a resolution to what we're having for dinner yet."
Well, even if we had resolved that, like Anik just jumps into the middle of the conversation that she's already had in her head.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to know the first part of that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You are supposed to know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a wonderful holiday. And they got back, she said they came back home the day after Thanksgiving. And I thought that might be a really bad travel day. And there was weather up there. And I was just like, oh shit, this could be a whole thing. But no, they got back. I will say, during our chat there at the adults table, we drank a lot of wine, and we had already had a lot of beer. And so I was moving a little slow that next day. And then they got home, and she came in, and they got all their stuff inside and all that. And then she comes, and I fucking stayed in. I got up at like 11, let the dogs out, and then went back to bed. And she comes in at like 4, and she goes, "I know you don't want to hear this, but all of our friends want to hang out." And I'm just like, I got to rally. I got to be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in. And so I rallied, and but man, I was moving a little slow.
I was moving a little slow that day too. And I think I'll just go out on the limb and say that was probably the most hungover I've been the day after Thanksgiving ever.
Really? Yeah.
Because normally it's like, oh, we have some wine and some drinks, but like we had some drinks and we had some wine.
We had some wine. Yeah.
I was moving slow the next day too.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of wine. And you're right. That it might be. I mean, I do get hungover a lot after Thanksgiving because there's 3 football games, and depends on if I'm which father-in-law I'm with, and all that stuff. But what a great holiday! Hey, we're gonna take a break. Coming up later in the show, SEAN MACKIN from the band YELLOWCARD. What a freaking run they've been on! Holy. Right?
Yeah, and what a treat. He's an awesome dude.
You guys are stoked to hear about this guy, his amazing family, and he's been here 2 years, so he is officially a Texan now. That is coming up here in just a little while, but first, y'all hang out and listen to this. This is the Rockstar Dad Show. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Don't forget, we're on iDoby Radio every single Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on Facebook or YouTube, and you can follow us on all of the social media outlets at Rockstar Dad Show. You can email us at rockstardadshow@gmail.com. And
also, if you just want to be creepy, you can show up to a show and follow us around.
That's true. You could. So get yourself some Rockstar Dad merch and come to a show, and you're almost guaranteed I will point you out from the stage. Yeah, like if you really want to get our attention.
Yeah, speaking of which, we got to start making some merch.
We do need to make some merch. Don't we have some or no?
We've had it, but not really had it or pushed it. Tell you what, I'm going to make a note for our next meeting.
Yeah, we should have a meeting. Honestly, it is time. It's time to redo the merch and and get some stuff going. I've never even had one of our shirts before. And I like to wear my own merch. I'm from the 80s. All of the 80s metal bands used to wear their own merch. And so I've always been that way in Bowling for Soup. Yeah. I was going to say the way for me not to point you out in a Bowling for Soup show or at a Bowling for Soup is wearing a Bowling for Soup shirt, because fucking everybody's got one.
It's so funny the bands wearing their own shirts thing being such an 80s thing, and like we've never really done it as BFS, or our whole genre doesn't really do it. It makes so much sense.
Yep.
Like, how much less luggage we would have to travel with if just every couple of days we went to the merch tent and like, you know what, I need a couple new shirts.
Yeah, let me grab one of these and one of these. Well, that used to be a sales ploy.
Right. No, I get that, but it's also it would just be it would be streamlining our packing.
We're all so good at packing now, though. Like I'm fucking Charlie Brown now. I have all the same socks, all the same underwear, all the same Dickies, and all the same T-shirts.
I've had like a storyline arch of packing. You know, so like whenever we started doing this, you weren't good at it. And then we've done it for so long. It's just, oh, I'm leaving to the airport in an hour and a half. I better start packing. You know, like we got so good and so quick at it.
Mhm.
And I'm still good and quick. We've been doing it forever, but now I've got anxiety about it. You know,
Yep.
now it's like I'm good at it. I'm fast. I know exactly what I'm wanting to do and where everything is and how to do it. But I just have this like, what if I've forgotten this? And the thing is, as long as it's not like your passport,
Yeah.
it doesn't freaking matter. You can just get another one. But I've still got this anxiety about it now.
Passport, phone, and meds, bud. That's
Yeah.
what I say it all the time. Passport, phone, and meds. If you've got your passport, your phone, and your meds, you're gonna survive at least. Everything's gonna be fine. And
Right.
that is just like as I get in the car. Because I have gone, we've gone, there has been so many changes. And I mean, remember, we used to all carry around a freaking whole thing of DVDs and CDs, and like you had to have this kind of thing, this kind of headphones for this thing, and this kind for this. And we had actual cameras.
And everything had different chargers. And,
Yeah. And what a mess that was, which is back to my theory. And I hope this is the way things are going, but everything just needs to be USB-C, and then let's all relax.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the lightning cable. Let's get rid of micro USB, USB-C, everything, and we're done.
It's going to be like Highway 380, though. Like as soon as everything goes to USB-C, they're going to be like, but now we have this better one. It's USB 9 or, whatever. And the reference on that is there's a highway over by where Jaret and I live. And years ago, whenever I went to college, it was a 2-lane highway. And is one of the deadliest highways in Texas. It's so busy. And they finally expanded it to a 4-lane highway. And it took years and years and years and years. Horrible traffic. As soon as it got done in its 4 lanes, the growth that happened, it's busy, backed up. Now they need to make it 6 lanes. And so they're in the process of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that's finished, the growth is going to happen where they're going to need to start working on it again to make it 6 lane. Like they're just always behind. As soon as they finish. As soon as they finish, they got to start over.
They're going to have to make it a toll road, but that's 10, 12 years, to make. But eventually you just got to build up, and charge us.
Yeah, but that's what USB-C, like, they're going to get it. Everything's going to be that, but then they're going to go, hey, this one's faster.
Yeah, you're freaking right on that.
It's a profit deal.
That's why we can't have nice things, Oh, man. I got 6 country shows coming up, all in Texas, and then I'm done for the year. And we just decided that we're not going to have our huge Christmas party this year.
Okay.
We're going to move it to July.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July again, which Santa does come and he gets in the pool and stuff, and it's great fun. But we are going to go to Broken Bow for New Year's.
Nice.
Yeah. Just fuck it, right? Just get out of here.
Yeah.
And I am so stoked.
I love it.
I think I'm going to get some time to chill in December because I'm going to go to Joshua Tree for a few days. And then I'm going to do this Broken Bow. And so maybe I'm going to really start 2024 just firing on all cylinders.
You're such a jet setter that whenever you're like, I'm going to take some time to just chill by going to these other places.
Yeah, you're right. It's so ridiculous. I know. Well, because it's hard for me to chill at home. It really is. Like just because this is where the studio is and it's so easy to, to just think of shit to do that you need to do, and we really do need to do. But me and Casey did this a few years ago. We did like a staycation for like 4 days and just worked on the house, and it was great. We need to do that again. Like there's shit that needs to get done. Yeah. But that's not what I would do if we took a thing and just hung out here. Like I'd end up just up here doing shit, And,
no, I totally get what you're saying. Broken Bow is one of my favorite places to go because of that. It's, hey, we're going to go there for a 3-day weekend and I'm not going to be on the phone. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not going to be working around the house. I'm not. Yeah. It's just an actual retreat.
The internet is actually shitty, and I think it's by design, like let's just make sure everybody just chills the fuck out when they're here.
Yeah. Oh man, that's going to be awesome.
I'm stoked. We'll get into like holiday plans and stuff next week. We'll talk about that. I am super excited to have Sean from YELLOWCARD on the show. We've known I mean, we just never really ran in the same circle as those guys, but we know a lot of the same people. It's really kind of a strange thing.
Yeah, it has been kind of a weird thing because like we've been at so many places together and played, whether it's Warped Tours or this or that, you know, we've played shows together, but we've just never really got a chance to hang out with them.
Yeah. Well, so Sean, of course, is going to be on the show here shortly, and to me, inspired a whole generation, maybe two, you know, of kids that were playing the violin, that you know, you can do more with it than just classical music and really, you know, just in it, you know, it's just, he's just a freaking great guy. You guys are going to love this conversation. That is coming up next on the Rockstar Dad Show. Y'all listen to this. Rockstar Dad Show. And as promised, I'm super stoked to have with us Sean from the band YELLOWCARD. Sean, how's it going, man?
What's up, y'all? How you guys doing?
Awesome. Happy to have you here.
Man, you know, I tell this story a lot. You know, we're both, you know, from this pop punk world or whatever, and I feel like we sort of came up around the same time, but you know, our circles really never crossed much. But I remember we were doing Warped Tour and there was this buzz about this band YELLOWCARD, and Gary and I made it a point to walk over and watch you guys from the crowd, and you are just playing this freaking violin and flipping around and jumping, and it was just so energetic and wild, and me and Gary just looked at each other and we're like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get the hype. This is this is gonna be big. What are your
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I was
Go ahead.
I was thinking back, I'm like trying to remember how many years we did Warped Tour like together, and we never had an opportunity to share like a private tour stage together. But that early 2000s, I mean, I think overall we did like 9 Warped Tours. I think 7 of them were together with you guys. So there's a lot of good memories. You know, you guys, you know, icons, and a little jump start for what we were doing in YELLOWCARD. But man, it's good to see you guys, and it's good to be here with y'all.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. And congratulations on coming back, but not only coming back just with the authority, you know, that you guys have done. And you know, you got to look to the genre of pop punk now with, you know, with us out there celebrating 30 years and you guys out there celebrating, you know, just getting off of this tour, celebrating the Ocean Avenue thing. And then, you know, you've got Story of the Year out there celebrating anniversary stuff and Newfound Glory. And, you know, it's just, it's a good time to be, you know, a certain aged individual in a pop punk band. So, man, dude, so it's so cool to find out too, because, you know, we being from Texas are kind of like this one of the pop punk bands, I guess you would say, is sort of, we've always felt like we were on an island on our own, because there's like the Florida bands and there's the California bands, and then, you know, there's us here. But you're in Texas. What brought you to Texas?
Really the growing family. You know, I grew up in Florida, you know, Jacksonville, Florida. My mom's still there, and just life took us over to the West Coast, you know, the early 2000s, and like 99, Ryan and I, we moved to California. We got the indie record deal. We're like, hey, drop out of college, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you know, that has its ups and downs, and ended up in just outside of Seattle, Washington for about 12 years. Right there in a small, quaint town of Snoqualmie, Washington.
Okay.
And, you know, I love my time there. I have lifelong friends in Seattle. In the low band moments, right, I had, you know, people, you know, taking care of me and helping me out. So, but when my daughter was born in 2014, you know, we were hustling, and it was easy. It was my wife and my daughter and myself. We got a couple pups, house in the mountains, like it was smooth. And then my son kind of showed up 4.5 years later, and I was like, man, this 2-kid thing is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, my wife's got family in California, and I got family in Florida, and we just said, hey, let's split the difference. Let's make a compromise. Yeah. And my wife goes, I never thought I'd live in Texas. And I go, it's pretty awesome. You know, Dallas is pretty big, but Austin's kind of right in the middle. So I sent her there for, you know, 4 or 5 days on like a summer vacation. And she came back. She was like, hey, I bought a lot and a house. And I was like, oh. Send me the pictures on the internet. Let me see where we're gonna live. So, but yeah, I'm 2 states from my mom. We're 2 states from her family, so we're in a good spot.
Were both families cool with that, or did either of them go, okay, you've got family here and family there, and y'all moved away from both of us?
Yeah, no. So her mom kind of lived in Washington near us, and I'm very lucky to have a mother-in-law that's kind and caring, and she's helps with the kids. But my family was like, if you're moving, you just come to Florida.
Yeah.
And her family was like, are you guys gonna move to California? I was like, no, we're not moving to California. It's a little spendy there.
Yeah.
So we're very happy here. We've had our initiations and our warm welcome. So we're happy Texans. Our kids get to grow up in Texas, and we're in the softball community with my daughter. She's 9.5. My son's playing 6U T-ball as a 4-year-old. So
man, yeah, baseball
sports.
is it's, you always hear about the football here in Texas and Friday Night Lights and stuff, and all of that is true.
Yeah,
but baseball is huge. I mean, and you're talking to a couple of baseball dads here, and Gary's boy is in like super competitive, like select baseball, and it's that will take over your life, dude. Are you got to be ready for it.
I need some tips. So I went to academy. I got the big wagon with the huge wheels. I feel like a couple dads that I get a little cap tip.
Right.
Yep. The biggest trick that I've learned is, okay, you got the wagon, so you're good for tournaments to take stuff out, carry your chairs. But like, I'll just take a smaller cooler in the wagon and have a bigger cooler in the car that you can reload throughout the day.
Yeah, we got so we're a big hydrate water. I don't do a lot of, I don't really publicly indulge. I can make a fool of myself quickly, which it's also why, like, we watch, us dads, we watch from the third base line away from like the stream cams and the moms and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because I try to be real respectful, but man, when I start talking the smack, it can, and I'm like, oh yeah, these are kids, 9-year-old girls. You should be smart. Try to be smart.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird too when you're somewhat of a public figure as well, and because everybody finds out, right? And so that's a thing where there was one time my little guy was in soccer. They were 5 years old, and the coach of the other team almost got in a fist fight with a dad on our team or whatever. And I'm just sitting there, like everybody else is up or whatever. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting right here till I see a phone go up, and then I'm leaving. I'm not going to be in the middle of this shit.
I'm not going to be on the bad side of an internet video. No. But if someone messes with my kid, some coach, we saw him out there like grabbing the face mask. I'm like, if someone does that, I'm going to cartwheel a fence for my daughter. For sure. Of course. Get the camera out. I'm going over that fence.
Well, yeah, there is a limit, right? And
right.
That's the good thing about that is if that were to happen, at least you have a platform to be able to tell your side of the story.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I want to distance myself. Like that's like red button launch code stuff. But we're having fun. The kids are learning. My daughter picked it up good. We're starting in the like select travel ball. We got great coaches. Like, there's a nice community here that kind of accepted us, and we're trying to raise good kids, and in a world where we play music and we have an unconventional life. So just trying to do the best I can.
Were you into baseball or sports growing up?
I was not into baseball. I was a big sports guy. Like our family, my brother played varsity basketball, junior varsity basketball as kind of an undersized guy. I went to a music school. I played varsity golf at my home school.
Wow.
Grew up playing soccer and tried to play football. And I'm just, undersized in Florida for those big sports. Kind of got my bell rung, I think, when I was in like 7th or 8th grade playing Pop Warner football. And my mom's like, maybe this isn't for you. And I was like, he's so big.
Yeah, you size out. You size out if that's gonna happen. Yeah, 8th or 9th grade, and all of a sudden, everybody, and I was a fat kid, so like I was fine size wise until like the 8th grade, and then all of a sudden, everybody that is playing against me because of my size is the size of a grown man. And I think drums are a better choice.
Yeah,
join the marching band.
Yeah, no, I love playing music. I wanted to be a good sports guy, and pretty hyper competitive. Have try to be smart with that now. But my mom, we grew up, we're kind of like very disciplined household, right? So
Mhm.
violin, right? We're playing golf, we're doing business sports, right? That was that was
Right.
my mom's deal. So, but yeah, no, I had a good upbringing. My mom was, really focused in giving us like that discipline stuff, and it paid off in kind of later years, but emotionally distressed in my younger years for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is too, is it's such a cool, there's aspects to this too.
Oh yeah.
It's so cool that, you guys brought that element into pop punk and nobody else had that. And it was such a unique thing that you guys had, which that's but also, golf at our age can actually, if you allow it to be a relaxing sort of escape from that, from
Oh, yeah.
the insanity of our world. And so to have those tools, are you still pretty good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just note on the violin thing. Thank you very much.
Of course, dude.
I have like one of my greatest Warped Tour memories is like 2004 Yellow Card, kind of like trying to rub elbows with, our heroes like Bad Religion, NoFX, like, like just the coolest, the best records, the most hours driven in the van. And I get an invite to play with Jay from Bad Religion and Kent from, running with NoFX.
Nice.
And I don't have a hole in one. I'm a single digit handicap. I played most of my life, but I don't have any hole in ones. But I hit a double eagle. I hit a 2-iron. We played some Muni outside Chicago, and I hit a 2-iron. And Jay Bentley's like, check the hole. We were looking for the ball, and it was in the hole. So I hit
No way.
double eagle, a 2 on a par 5. So I still play. I play a lot. It's my kind of escape deal, and my wife lets me get out and clear my head. But I'm the cook of the house too. So she's like, you gotta make dinner. You gotta clean the kitchen.
Man, we know who we need in the next celebrity golf tournament. Like you, Sean, come with us to like Duffing for Dollars or something.
Yeah.
And, because I'm not any good, but I'm a lot of fun to be around. And Gary's pretty good.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot for having you join us here, but like, it must be nice to go play with these people that you're looking up to, knowing like, hey, I can actually play golf pretty good. Jaret and I play, but we play for fun.
Yeah,
and so anytime there's a guy that joins our threesome or what, just some stranger, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna suck on this tee shot. Like, there's this anxiety of playing in front of somebody.
So they had me out to Duffing for Dollars, and then a buddy of mine who's kind of well-to-do, I think it was like 2016 or 17. A buddy, like, he's like, oh yeah, I'll just, I'll buy in the group and like whatever, and we won it, and then they never called me back. So
no way. All right,
so they're like, this guy is not. She should not come back.
So for the listener, Duffing for Dollars is Kevin Lyman's charity golf tournament, and Kevin Lyman, of course, creator and founder and runner of Warped. Without Kevin, there's no Warped Tour, basically, which is everybody's on the edge of their seat all the time. Like, is he going to ever do anything again? But but he does this golf, and we just did it for the first time last year, and of course we're just there for fun, but we had a good time.
Most golf tournaments we don't even turn in scorecards.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that you won it. But now, so you talked about your son and your daughter. What are their names and ages?
Yeah. So Madeline is 9, just this past September, and Bennett is 4.5.
Wow. Those are good ages, man.
So I'm right in the thick of it. And my son he's a kind of a mama's boy, but now he's starting to be like, you were throwing the ball in the backyard, and he's like, I'm going to throw faster than you. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I know I'm going to train my replacement. Like, I get that, but he's starting to like, set his eye on me as the mark. So,
right.
And then my daughter, she's the star of the show. She's the, big heart, big emotions, doesn't want to like, cause any trouble. And, she's always making sure everyone's good. She's a good kid. We waited a long time for her to come around, and we're really happy.
Yeah, that's amazing. And now, we ask everybody this, and sometimes it's kind of hard to tell at that age, and sometimes you think so, and then later, just my case was my kids seemed musical at first and really just have no interest in it. At least the older two. Are they into music? Or are they musical at all?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, and I'll touch more back on that. So I got us a piano last year. Like that was our like kind of family Christmas present. So we rescued like a Yamaha, someone refurbished, like a nice upright. My brother had the Yamaha from my mom. He played piano. I played violin. So I was like, Mom, Matt doesn't play anymore. Like, let me get. She's like, I told him it's his piano, so I had to buy my own piano. So I'm like, okay, I bought the piano, and we got him in some lessons. And I did the same thing my mom did. I said, hey, here's the deal. You live in my house. You got to play. You're gonna play every day. If you take a break, you got to make it up somehow or whatever. And they're pretty good about it. But like they are drawn to music. And I try to be real with them. I'm like, hey, my job, my life is, like I had a very small chance of doing this. So even if you play, you may not be able to do that for a living. You maybe can. We just got to work and find out, where we end up. So I try to be real with them about it. But my daughter listens to songs, and she listens to songs with her friends, and she had a Yellow Card song as like a walk-up song like last season. Like
Nice.
There's a lot of like really cool things that the kids are doing about music. And then my son, when he's done practicing, he'll still sit at the piano. And again, mind you, he's 4, and they're doing color and like learning, this music staff or whatever. But lately he's just been sitting there because he'll hear me like kind of plink around on the keys and like try and write a song or whatever. So he'll sit there and like try and write like music or whatever. And I'm like that's just like, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I want them to play piano to give them a base of what maybe they can do when they choose to do something.
Yeah.
And from someone that played violin, I'm melodically driven. Rhythmically, I'm awful. Like I just learned how to quantize rhythm in Logic on my computer, like not a big computer guy, but so I'm like rhythmically challenged. And, I meet all these musicians, that we get to meet, and they're like, oh, I started on piano, or as a drummer, I started on piano. And I just feel like it's a really great, jumping point, instead of like, hey, here, play the violin because I did it. You're going to do it. So my son says that he wants to play violin. I don't know if we're going to go that route, but they're both like, okay, playing the piano, and they've already started kind of at a young age.
It's I mean, that was my rule. So at 5, you have to take piano lessons. You have to do it until you're 10. My daughter made it. My middle son did not. His teacher was like, he is not ready for this. So he's dabbled in a few things here and there. But my youngest son is now 11, still in piano, playing drums. And it's like one of those things. It's funny. You mentioned like a few, but it's like, hey man, you have a few responsibilities, and one of them is you have to practice your piano. You have to do your homework, Yeah. But you have those little moments, as you said the other day. He was, you can hear him upstairs playing, and you can usually pick out what it is. And he was going from Green Day to playing Master of Puppets by Metallica, and I was just like, God, I am such a good dad.
Yeah, that's it. If that is the baseline, he's already ahead of the curve. But like, I mean, I know I'm not the only dad, to do this stuff. It's like, what is the positive reinforcement to tell our kids, like, hey, it's a tough hack. You gotta go get it.
It's true. I think one thing that we say, and there is no one in the world whose parents made them take piano lessons that knows how to play the piano that's still pissed at their parent. Like for me, I'm just like, dude, you don't even understand. Like, in 8th grade, you're going to go to a party, and there's going to be some dude like trying to pick away on Rock You Like a Hurricane on guitar. And you're going to be able to sit behind the piano and just you can play classical or whatever. It doesn't matter. Chicks or whoever is going to gather around that piano and just be like, holy crap. I'm just like, so, I mean, for us, it's really just a matter of like, hey, we want you to be able to do the things that you want to do, but we feel like this is good for you. It's good for math. It's, all that.
I think it's funny that you said, hey, y'all need to play this, but music's hard, and you may not end up doing that for a living type thing. Whenever my son was going into the junior high, and he was going to join band, he didn't know what instrument he was going to go with yet, and so he went to the thing where you try out a bunch of different instruments. And my wife was just like, well, of course he's going to do drums. And I'm like, no, let him pick what he wants. You know, you don't have to do what I want. I want you to do what you want to do. Right. And so we went to this thing and he picked out all these different things. And he was going to end up playing like baritone or something. I don't remember exactly what it was now. But anyways, that's what he was going to do. And my wife just kept on for weeks and weeks going, don't you want to play drums? Don't you want to play drums? And so one day he and I were walking the dog and I just talked to him. I go, hey man, you don't have to, you know, if your mom's pressuring you to change to drums, you don't have to do that. I want you to be happy and just have a good experience because band's a great thing. And he looked at me, he's like, you know, I just don't know if I want to play drums for a living.
Oh,
and I'm like, dude, that's not what you have. That's not what we're doing here. You're going to go have some fun, do
That's
whatever
nice
you want to do.
yeah.
That's just nice when they have that moment and they like talk to you like for real, right?
Yeah.
He and his son have, you know, I have good communication with my kids, but he actually has accomplished the thing where he stayed best friends with his boy, and they have, real conversations. It's really cool to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, we scratched the surface a little bit yesterday as we're growing. When my daughter, she kind of had an emotional moment where we got a tournament this weekend. She's starting to pitch, which is tough. You know, that motion is weird. I learned to pitch so I could kind of coach her through it.
Wow.
And she's like, hey guys, I don't think I want to pitch. Like, she's crying. We're like, what's wrong? She's like, I think I don't want to pitch. And we're like, why? And she's like, I'm having trouble. Like, it's really hard for me. And I'm like, man, I am so proud of you because it is really hard. And she's like, I love catching and hitting and like, I love fielding. But like when I try to pitch, like, I know I'm not doing like the best job. I'm like, well, do you not like it? Cause your performance, cause you just learned, right? You started this summer. And she's like, it's just so hard right now. And I feel like, you know, it puts me in a bad spot. And I'm like, I'm just proud that you like came to talk to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, also, they're going to pitch you this weekend. So thanks for not telling us this on Saturday morning. Saturday is a bad day to tell us. Tuesday night, that's a great team meeting day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. No, like,
I'm curious. So you've got to be in your 40s, right?
I am. I'm 44 years young.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same age as me.
Yeah. I'm 50.
You're very handsome, sir.
I'm 51. And
You as well.
thank you, brother. And but I've got to say, like, that motion, learning that motion at 44 years old to throw that softball that way, but also you have to have aches and pains from the violin for all of these, you know, all of these years or whatever. But I mean, you got any injuries from any of that, or some sore spots?
Any nicks from the city miles that we did, sleeping in the futon in the van?
Oh my goodness.
I'm very lucky. I kind of have stayed relatively athletic, and kind of made it through without any like really bad injuries. You always stretching, kind of yoga, always was really kind of like not the weird kid, like standing in the wings of the stage, like stretching or whatever, but like I took preparation pretty serious. You know, I've always seen guitar players and, you know, some of our peers with like hand injuries and like some tendonitis. So I'm starting to see a little bit of that, but not really from violin, you know, like with some good technique and like taking care of yourself. I've been away from that, but this summer we were out on tour. We had our kind of reunion 20-year anniversary, Ocean Avenue.
Yes. And by the way, congratulations. I mean, such a huge tour, and what a success, and very well deserved, and just so cool to watch, you know.
Man, thank you. It's like just really unexpected. And we left, and we have great fans, and we left in kind of 2016, 17, like, hey, I think this is it for us. We can't really hack it. Like, it's just getting real hard, guys.
Yeah.
And then some of the conversations were like, you know, what if no one really cares? What if no one kind of shows up?
Right.
And we're just playing kind of, you know, one of the biggest tours of our career. And, you know, I love that music rallies people. And I know that all of us have been through so much these last few years. They're hard. It's been hard living. People have been sick, and we're missing some people. And, you know, so to be able to come back and just have a celebration and see familiar faces and hear the stories, but really kind of just, you know, we have a lot of friends that are scattered everywhere around the world. And, you know, the last few years I hadn't got to see a lot of people. And really happy with my tribe back home, but this was definitely a big celebration year for us. And so thank you very much. And, special thanks to all of our fans and listeners. They go through great lengths to consume and listen and be there for us. And I felt the love. I'm big love this year. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's cool to see, the genre doing well. We all got our stream stuff in today from Spotify, and it's fun to see those grow every year in this genre. And man, it's just it's so cool to see. I mean, we're such fans of our peers, and we just root for everybody. And so, I was very glad. We love Story of the Year and those guys, so we were glad those guys got to join you on some of it. And,
yeah, that was awesome. I was like, they're never gonna do it.
Yeah.
How fun. Like, one of our things was like huge box on the checklist was like, we got to tour their friends. We got to do this with our friends. We got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And just them being there. And I know Ryan and Adam, they got their podcast deal. And it's just like, it just felt like this really cool reunion. We had Amber Lynn out for a fair portion of it. We had just awesome friends. And just to have that like reunion anniversary vibe, and it really kind of jump-started us. We're looking to get out in 24 and spending time with the family more. I don't have to, be at the office all the time now in the off season. So we're very, very fortunate. We're very, very, very happy, very blessed.
Now, are you okay to, if you're not okay to talk about this, we'll edit it out. But so during the downtime, what were you doing, when you weren't touring?
Yeah. I'm good with it. So I had back in Seattle, close family friend, and his family has an auto group, and I just learned like just straight up business, sales, service, customer service. And I got into a place, I grew up, family was in the, I had grandfather in the military, and my dad, souped up trucks and, kind of did some off-roads. So I was always around cars, and found myself in a leadership position at a Toyota store, and service manager and assistant service manager, customer service, all that stuff. And I think the scary thing is like when you're a dad, and I could be a starving artist. Like I would have been okay with that 10, 15, 20 years ago, like whatever that looks like. But like my kids and my wife, I didn't ask them. I didn't make it hard. I just was like, hey, I got to figure something out. And so, I worked very hard. I had, a dual life. I have a, pretty much like a executive office lifestyle deal. And I mean, there were years right there when my daughter was, 2, 3, and I was like college, like what does all this like grown up stuff look like?
Right.
And, you grind out 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Cause was like fear was chasing me. Like, how do I get to the place that I need to be at, or that I think I need to be at, or whatever. And, there's always the conversation is like, the most important thing is that, everyone's safe and healthy and then together. And then there's also the other side where it's like, I want to be able to give my family some of the things that I was given and, kind of pay it forward that way. And there's many ways to do that. That's the route that I took. And when we moved to Texas, kind of the same thing. I met some people and worked for a Toyota store down here in Cedar Park, Texas. And they looked after me, and I worked as hard as I could work. And then, they were going to give me a leave of absence to do the tour. They were like, hey,
wow.
They're like, you're coming back, right? And I was like, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, I had to get some tires in my truck when I got home, and they're like, are you coming back? And I was like, not right away. I don't know. We're in a pretty good spot right now. And, they're super supportive. A lot of people came out to the show down here in Austin. And it's just, like I never worried about the glitz and the glamour, and it became a part of my life. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I did it right, but like, I got a great family. I worked real hard, and I got great friends, and, play a ton of golf on the road. I see, friends everywhere. And so I really got no complaints about it. And I feel pretty confident that however I got where I got, a roof over our head. We got bread on the table, and, the kids are healthy, and, we got batting practice later. We got, my son's got t-ball practice tomorrow, and we got a tournament this weekend. So Wrote a song this morning. It's like, hey, we're just kind of just cruising.
I love it, man, dude. I think as Rockstar Dads go, you've just managed to become one of the top ones we've ever had on the show, dude. Seriously, it's just really awesome to hear the perspective of somebody that's like, look at, it's all glitz and glamour aside. I've got responsibilities, and here's what I want to be able to do, and and that's a hard business, Cars. I mean, that takes you away from your family a lot too. I mean, I'm not sure how it works these days, but maybe you're able to do some of it at home. But my dad sold cars for several years, and dude, I never saw the guy, and so it's good that you're able to make sure that you're putting that in perspective, make sure you're being there. And you said bread on the table. As long as you're home, I guess there's bread on the table, the wife says, right?
Yeah. Well, you got the Uber Eats, you got the takeout, babe. It's gonna be late tonight, but
oh yeah, man.
I mean, that's top level compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sean, through some of your like just conversation today and like looking at your Instagram post, like you just have this sense I get of gratitude, and that's kind of a rare thing in this day and age. Is that something that you've always had? Is that something that, hey, now you're 44, it's just kind of matured into you? Or I don't know. It's a very nice aura of gratitude that I get.
No,
from
thank you. I a lot of it really comes from my mom. Like, I make the joke, she emotionally kind of beat me up when I was little. And I mean, I literally quit playing violin every day. I told her I quit. No, this is not cool. I remember, being on the bus and like just people just picking on me. I'm like, man, this is just like, I just want to play soccer with my friends. Like, she's like, you're going to play violin if you live in this house. So like, just deal with it. And, my parents split young. That's tough. You have parents that split, and it affected me for a long time. And so I was really grateful for my friends. I was really grateful to learn how to write songs, because I knew that I wasn't going to be Joshua Bell. Like, I'm pretty good. I work hard. My band has taught me a lot. We work together. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a guitar player trapped in a violinist body. But there are key moments where I'm like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't this. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't this. And it's like, I could be, kind of a shitty person if I wanted to. Like, those outlets are easy. And I'm like, I want to make sure. And as we progressed as a band, people were watching us. They looked up to us. And I'm like, I just felt like I had this responsibility. And it's really because of my mom. She never let me take the easy way out. She always like made it hard for me. And when I got to the place where, we toured with the Ataris in 2003, right before Ocean Avenue came out. And for me, that was the moment where I was like, I think like we're doing it. Like, I think this is real.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, because I had like an emergency ripcord. I was like 24 was my number. I was going to go back to college. I was going to get a job. I was going to be the other person I guess I ended up being anyway. And so I always just kind of had this confidence, like, we're going to work. Ryan and I worked at Chili's in between, those indie tours in the band. I was like, I worked hard. I wanted to give us a real shot. I wanted to pay the bills. And at that age, and that drive was in me, and I've always had it. It's got to be from my parents. It's got to be from my mom, just like grinding me out at home. Like, you better practice. You can't go do this. And I told her, I was like, and it's funny because my band is too loud. She'll come to the show and be like, it's not really for me.
Right.
And I'm like, well, just stay for the shout out, Mom. Like, I got to tell everyone that you're the reason I'm here. So
I wonder if she knows though what her influence is on a whole generation though, because if you think about it, you brought this element of, I know you play guitar too, but you brought the violin into this world, into the Warped Tour world. I realize it exists in Flogging Molly and some things like that, but let's just say pop punk, right? You bring this instrument into the world, and all of a sudden you're not that kid on the bus that's getting picked on, and those kids that are in the bus getting picked on are going, well, the dude in Yellowcard plays this, guys. What are you guys doing, with your life, right? And so there has to be, because of the instrument that you chose, there has to be just this insane number of kids that all of a sudden didn't feel uncool or chose to play that instrument. You know what I mean? So that's huge. I mean, have you ever sat down and explained that to your mom? That's amazing.
I mean, that's a big like butterfly effect deal. But you know, I tell her, we make the jokes all the time. You know, I just went back, played a golf tournament with my dad for his birthday. He's got little member guests that their deal, and we sit at the table and they give me a hard time. They're like, you used to quit and blah blah blah. And I mean, we got to play. There's that amphitheater right next to the Jaguar Stadium. We played 2 nights this summer at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and my dad got to bring his friends, and Ryan had his parents out. Like the Jaguars gave us, jersey. Like it's crazy big moments like that like, hey, how did we get here?
Right.
Where is this good feeling coming from? And so especially this year, very grateful. Lots that we're proud of, and our kids we got awesome kids. They're yes sir, no ma'am. Like, I mean, they're just so sweet and kind. They'll do anything not to get a timeout. Like they're good kids. So we got it good, and we try not to mess it up, and just trying to rain some positivity down and give them some good influence.
Those are the big victories, man. Sean, you're awesome, dude. I'm glad we finally got the chance to sit and have a conversation. I look forward to the next time we're in the same room where we don't have to be weird because we don't know each other, and
yeah, man.
We can.
I'm a big hugger, so next time
I'm me too. Yeah, us too.
Drive over and knock on your door. Hey, man, good to see you.
Let's do. Well, seriously, man, we're back and forth to Austin quite a bit, so I'll have Allie shoot my number over to you, man. Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And man, thank you for coming on the show. And as you know, can you where would you like to send people social media wise, as far as for you or for Yellow Card, and then any plans for the future that you can let us in on yet?
Yeah, no, like obviously the band, we're most active Instagram. I think I still do the X Twitter or the Zwitter or whatever you guys want to call it. Which is SEAN MACKIN YC. We got band accounts for Twitter, TikTok, all that, and Instagram. Pretty strong. The band is, I think, most active on the Instagrams. But yeah, I mean, we're planning an onslaught. We have no release dates or information readily available. We are doing the Emo's Not Dead cruise in February with Matt.
Nice.
And it coincides with my wife's birthday, so I get to celebrate and take her to the Bahamas and pour Mai Tais on her hair. So it's gonna be awesome.
Love it, man. Well, dude, have a great holiday season, brother, and thank you again for coming on the show and spending some time with us today.
Thanks for your time, y'all. Happy holidays. Appreciate it.
You too, bro. Take care.
Later. See you guys.
Sean was awesome, man. That guy, that's a good dad right there.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody realizes that we had some technical difficulties early on, but he powered through and stuck with us. I'm glad he did, because what a great dad and a fun conversation.
Great dad, great conversation. That is Sean Mackin from the band Yellow Card, and this has been the Rockstar Dad Show. Hey, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button, and why not leave us a review? We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Y'all be good.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that some rockstar dads who started a show. Until the next episode.